What is up, GBA fans? This is John, aka Pokemon, and today I am here with four lovely people to do a draft analysis for the second season of the GBA D League. In the call, we do have Sam or Foofoo, the winner of the first season of the D League. We have Adam or the Mighty Ducklets, the runner-up of the D League, and then also a GBA member who did really well in both seasons. We have Steve, creator of the GBA. He has always done incredibly, especially in the first two seasons of the GBA.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
And we have intern Burke, otherwise known as Emily. Whatever you want to call him, go for it.
You guys suck.
Maybe true, but at least our name's on Emily.
So what are we going to do? We're just going to go through the 8 teams, and we all have a different team. We're just going to go down in order. We didn't pick a team. I'm going to start off with the Gastros. I'm going to say what I liked, what I didn't like, really short on that, and then the other people are going to be able to jump in, talk about what they really liked, you know, some value picks, this and that, and at the end of that, we're going to all fight about it until we can get to a letter grade, whether it be an A+, an F-.
D, moving on. Next team.
Anything like that. So we're going to start off with the Houston Gastros, coached by Mr. Mike himself. And there's a lot of things I really didn't like about this team. Obviously, he got the first pick. He took Mew, which could be incredible. I mean, Mew has been used pretty terribly in some situations, and then it's been used pretty well by other people. I know Dan against me used it really well, and I know the first week against me he used it terribly. It's a mixed bag. I think we can all agree we've seen Mew not really used to its full potential. But it can be amazing, and it can do so many things, but I feel like it gets thrown into the defensive role too many times. And the big reason I'm a little iffy with Mew on this team is this team has a lot of walls, or at least bulkier mons. It doesn't have too many walls, but not much reliable recovery. We have Mew with Roost, we have Togekiss with Roost, and we have the last pick, Go-Goat with Milk Drink. Beyond that, we have things like Spiritomb, which only has Rest. Cobalion, does everything get rest? I think everything does. I don't know.
Yeah, Arrow gets rest as well.
Cobalion?
Arrow.
Oh, okay. I thought they said Cobalion. I'm like, really? I don't think there's gonna.
I get he's British, John, but come on.
Mega Arrow is not the thing you want to be like. This is my wall. This game, Roost Arrow, Roost.
I don't know.
It could work.
It gets torn and rocks and stuff. It could work and defog.
But if we're gonna talk about the bulky mons on his team, and it's kind of a little nitpicky thing, but I'm a little worried that Mew's gonna be thrown into that defog, bulky role again because Suicune, it only got rest, and then Nidoqueen, it's bulky, it's not a wall, but it's like it's one of the things that has bulk on his team, and that along with a pretty significant ground weakness when you see 2 of the first 3 picks, Raikou and Nidoqueen, are weak against earth or ground. Cobalion's weak against ground, Darmanitan. Those are the things that I'm a little worried about. There's a lot of things I do like, but I'm not going to say too much about it. You guys can say things that you like and dislike and love. And Burke, you
I'd pick up on the thing with Mew. I think he does have options. Togekiss is a good defogger, and it's another option for him there. And yeah, he can throw defog on an offensive Mega Arrow set if he wants to. I think it's got the versatility for Mew to be able to do other things, but I also agree that you say Mew isn't used to the best of its potential a lot of the time, and that is because Mew's potential is insane. Like, it's so good for any matchup you want because it can be anything you want. I don't think it's a bad pick for that reason. I don't think saying you didn't use Mew to its potential is a bad thing because its potential is so amazing in draft format.
I think one of the overlooked things about this team is that he has 4 things that can turn, like Mew, Raikou, Cobalion, and Darmanitan. So he can kind of control momentum of any game that he wants to with those because they're all pretty fast too.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a lot of options of he's going to be doing that a lot, I think, and he's going to be able to control momentum a lot. Yeah. So he's not. That's why he doesn't really need a lot of walls, I don't think, because he's not going to get into. Or he's going to pretty much have the upper hand most turns if he, turns out a lot.
Well, that's the thing about Mew that I really like and dislike. It's really all on how he plays, and we know Mike is the newest person to this format. He's never been in a draft league, and he can either be like Mew. He has the potential to be incredible, or he might fall short. So if he is incredible, if his potential is incredible and he does really well, Mew could be the MVP. It could be different every week, keeping people on its toes. It can really help keep momentum in his favor and just, be perfect match to match. But if he struggles with trying to use that potential, the volt turn on his team and not having the reliable recovery could be bad. But just having bulky teams and bulky offense could be used in his advantage. I think it's a great team. It just really depends on how he plays with all these different components. It's a very good team. There's a lot of good parts, but I feel like it's going to be a difficult team for certain people to use. I think it's a difficult team to use.
The one other thing I just wanted to pick up on was that his team doesn't have that much priority. It's got Mew's Vacuum Wave or Sucker Punch, and then Spiritomb, which isn't great priority either. That's pretty much all. So that might be something to look out, but it's not crucial. It's just... Oh, and the other thing, no quad weaknesses. I know people like to pick up on this when analysing drafts. It's not the be-all and end-all. We saw Morvone actually do really well on a very heavily criticised draft that had a lot of quad weaknesses. It's not a massive issue necessarily, but he doesn't have any quad weaknesses, so that's probably only a positive thing.
I do like that. I mean, I think that's going to be really helpful, especially, if I'm going to criticize not having a lot of good recovery, if you're going to have a team that synergizes like that, doesn't have any quad weaknesses, you don't necessarily need that. You make the right switch, you can force the opponent out and get some damage on something, and that could actually be a lot better than just having a lot of walls and a lot of bulk. So I'm happy you picked up on that. That's actually really cool. That's good to know.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the lack of reliable recovery. It's not great, but he does have Togekiss with Wish. So if he uses that right, he might be able to Wish Patch into something like Suicune or Spiritomb, any of his walls.
It's a good point, but Wish passing in draft formats is really tough. Having said that, Togekiss is not something you'd necessarily see the Wish coming on, so it could well work in that instance. But
well, I like how he said if used right. I think that's a big thing with this team.
Yeah,
if used right, this team could be special.
Yeah. Indeed.
Adam, do you have anything to add? You've been quiet.
Well, you took points. Really, the main point that I was going to say is it looks like a very good team on paper. However, it looks like it could end up being a very technical team to try to use. So I don't know if it's an easy starter team to try to finesse through. That's my big worry for it, to be honest.
Yeah. So we got to come together. We got to give a grade. Should I just give an initial grade and everyone who starts it out give an initial grade and then we fight over it?
Yeah, that sounds fair enough.
Sure.
Okay. I'm thinking B-. That's...
I was gonna say B- also.
I was gonna go a bit higher than that, I think, but definitely B, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm around a B.
I was going to say B+, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say B+. We can compromise on a B.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I think a B is definitely fair.
It's just a team that remains to. He's got a lot to prove with it. There's
a lot of question marks, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to go into the prep with this. It's good on paper, but it all depends on the prep and how it's played. So I will take the next team, which is the Stantlers, coached by Ellie. I really like this team. And I may be biased just because some of the picks she's made. I've used some of them in a draft format before in the first season of the GBA. Infernape is a great pick and really something you need to think about when choosing. The Latties, I definitely think are a very solid first round pick. It's elite defog and the speed is really great. I've used Roserade as well, which I really liked, with the option for a Technician Hidden Power to give whatever coverage you want. I just think it's a really nice team, and what I like to see is that Ellie was really thinking about cores and type matchup, because she's got Dragon, Fairy, Steel with Latias, Florges, Scizor. She's got Fire, Water, Grass in terms of Infernape, Vaporeon, Roserade, and she's got loads of other stuff. She's got a fast electric type. It looked like she was just ticking boxes when doing this draft. She knows the things that go together and the things that she wanted. She's got multiple hazard removal options and hazard setting options, and just the piece de resistance, the Mega Sableye at the end. I really like Mega Sableye. I don't know if I'm convinced it's amazing in the format. I know that Dan used it incredibly in this previous season of the GBA. But I do really like it, and I do think it has a lot of potential. So I do really like this draft, and I think it's one of the stronger drafts, personally. What do you guys think?
Okay, I'll come in and you said a lot of nice things. I'm going to be the guy that always says something bad. And I think this is a great draft. There's not many things when I look at it that I can really criticize, but the one thing I'm a little worried about is there's not a ton of offense. We see
I agree that there's not the obvious hard hitter.
And there's not much setup. There's Scizor for offense, and then there's Scizor for setup. There's obviously other complementary pieces. Yeah. Latios and Infernape are very scary threats. But I feel like the kind of the big thing for just offense and setup is going to be Scizor, and
Infernape can be set up, Latias can be Calm Mind. I think setup options are there. Sigilyph can be set up. Mega Sableye can be set up. I think the issue I would pick up on more, which I think is more valid, is there's no really, really hard hitters. Stuff
that's what I'm saying, buddy.
Destroy it. Yeah, no, I know. It's just you were saying about the setup. I think she does have setup. I think it's...
Well, there is, but scary setup. I mean, Latios Calm Mind is really good, but something that's going to be good...
Like one turn and then sweep. You mean
right? Yeah, I mean that's Calm Mind Pokemon are really good. You're not going to be able to bring that. You plug and play Swords Dance Scizor almost every match that will be useful in some way. There's not many teams that just have multiple counter for setup Scizor throughout the entire match. Latios, it might not be a big deal. I've had teams where I didn't have much setup, and I've done fairly well. It's not going to be the thing that ruins the draft. I'm just a little worried if too much will be on the combination of Scizor, Infernape, and Latios.
I completely agree. That is the thing that I did pick up on.
And Roserade. I am forgetting about Roserade. Roserade is very powerful.
Very powerful. I think, Roserade is probably one of the biggest nukers on her team.
Yeah, that Leaf Storm can be really powerful.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, what do you think, Emily?
You guys are just assholes.
That's rude, Emily. We're trying to be friends with you, and you're calling us.
Okay, if you want to be the summer intern, Emily, you have to contribute. You have to deal with this. This is important. This is your big shot, man. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Shut up. I think definitely the Scizor is probably her biggest hitter. Choice Bandit that can easily come and bowl punch pretty much anything. I don't really understand why she has the Sand Slash. It doesn't really do much for her team. She's already got 2 Defoggers and a Magic Bouncer.
It was. Okay. I think I can see what it was, which is an electric immunity, but I don't like it for that. I used Donphan in the League format, which is arguably just a better Sand Slash, and I didn't like it at all. And I don't think the Sand Slash is a good one at all. It's just
350 speed though, man.
Do you guys think maybe Sand Slash and Regirock 2 kind of fill the same role, but one isn't an immunity and the other one's... I mean, Regirock's just kind of better than Sand Slash, but without spin and immunity. Put them together, and be like, oh, okay, good pick. But with both of them, it's like I'm worried that she's going to keep bringing the same offensive options, and her team is kind of centered around having an incredible defensive core as well. I don't know if she's going to be able to bring... Sand Slash, I can't see that ever getting brought.
No, I can't see that ever getting brought, which is a big criticism. If you've got something on your team, if you drafted something you're just not going to use, that is a bit of a crime, really. So that's I would worry about that. I think that she could have gone for a different ground type. That's all she needed it for, was a ground type to threaten that electric immunity. So But anyway.
I was going to say that it's almost this team's almost a semi-love child between Sam and I's team, because I have 3 Mons, Regirock, Vaporeon, and Latias that were all on my GBA team, and they're all really good.
Those are the things I really liked on your team, to be fair. They always did work.
One thing that I don't overly like is she has a lot of special bulk going on with Florges and Vaporeon and Roserade and Latias. But you kind of have Sand Slash as your physical wall. Regirock is obviously very good with his base 200, but it still doesn't really have recovery. And then you pretty much have to rely on Mega Sableye being your other physical wall there.
And that's something you don't want to rely on. And Dan, everyone thinks about the core, but even talking to Dan and him talking about the core, Mega Sableye wasn't good at being a wall. It was good at intimidating other teams. Because you switch it in, it takes a hit, it's outsped by everything, so then it's either going to have to take another hit and recover, or it's going to get killed. And Regirock has rest. So I think that's a really good point. I definitely thought about that during the draft, but had kind of forgotten about that now. Physically could be a little difficult.
The positive thing for me is I think she arguably had the best last 2 picks of the entire draft by getting Regirock and Mega Sableye there.
Yes.
I love those 2 picks. I think she had the best last 2 picks for sure.
And I wouldn't disagree with any of her early round picks either. It was just the ones just before Regirock and Mega Sableye were a bit questionable. I don't know. If she wanted an electric immunity, I think maybe something different, like a different electric type with a Volt Absorb or Lightning Rod or something instead of Heliolisk might have been better, and then it would have freed up that Sandslash slot for something she'd actually use. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm looking at speed again. She has 110 Latias, she has 108 Infernape, 109 Heliolisk, and then what's the next fastest thing? 97 Sigilyph? Is that the next fastest thing?
Yeah.
Which is decent, but again, it's not an overly fast team, but she has so much bulk that I guess it doesn't really matter that much.
I think the beautiful thing is, I mean, we say this, but honestly, Latias, Infernape, Florges, Vaporeon, Roserade, Scizor, and then change one of them with Mega Sableye. That's all she needs. That is incredible.
That's really good. It's really good. It's going to be really hard to break, and I think that she'll be able to, with kind of Wish and in a U-turn from Nape and things, I think that she will be able to keep the momentum in her favor as well.
The only other thing I was going to say, if she grabbed Scizor, then Heliolisk, then Sandslash, then Sigilyph, it almost kind of looked like she was maybe potentially banding for like a semi-sand team at the end there, because like you could have the evasive ability that I can't think of. That one, Lisk, and then you could have Sand Rush on Sandslash and things like that would give them extra usefulness. That's the only other thing that I could think of for things like Sandslash and Sigilyph and all that. But
I do have to say, I think she will be the person who shows that Heliolisk can be a really good mon in the format. Because we haven't seen it much, but I think it has the potential to be really, really good. I don't know. It's weird. I think that and Sigilyph could be really good.
Yeah. But
I think they're it's all. We'll see if she uses them.
They've got niches. They've got interesting niches that are yet to be fully explored, I think. So, So, guys, have we discussed everything you want to talk about? Shall we come up?
I haven't even gone yet. So
go on then. Go on, Steve. Go on then.
God,
please.
I haven't been around. All right.
You had dogs barking, man.
It would have done.
That wasn't his contribution.
Yeah. If you look at Florges and then 2 of the 4 picks after that were Mega Scizor and Toxicroak, you can argue that both of them picked that as a direct result of Florges. Because then Ellie went and grabbed up Scizor and Roserade, 2 things that could also beat Florges. And if you go along the draft, there's not a lot that people have that can really do a lot to Florges team-wise. Like, there's no one picked... I don't see anyone picking Metagross at all. I mean, Lucario doesn't really want to go physical steel because it has Bullet Punch. There's like Excadrill, Toxicroak. So, I mean, when you Florges, then she combines it with like Scizor and Roserade. Like, that Florges is going to be around for a while. I don't see a lot of things beating it.
And now that has Synthesis too.
Yeah, Synthesis is so great for it.
Yeah. And I think the reason why Mega Sableye was so good also was because it was paired with Blissey. So... And I think that Florges is going to fit that same pretty much the same role that Blissey had, but maybe, I don't know, better or worse. It depends on if you consider the typing, better or stats. But it looks like that. It also, I know she really wanted to get Cobalion, like she was sniped for that. So then, I think Roserade was kind of a snap check to, oh wait, this can beat Florges. I should snag it up, because then after that, you look, there's pretty much nothing that anyone has, save for a few things that can really touch Florges, and then you combine it with like a Mega Sableye, and that's going to be not a lot of fun for other people to play against at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's where her team strength lies, within those 2. And I guess Vaporeon is cool to wish stuff that if you don't want to put that on Florges, you can put on Vaporeon.
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be a tough call to break down. Just one last thing to mention. I know that I've criticised the Sandslash pick, but the other reason she picked it, pretty obviously, is that she wants Hazard Stack as an option. She's got a defog option on Latias, but I guess she wanted Spin as well, because she can get the spikes up with Roserade, and with all the bulk and things going on, I guess that she wanted Hazard Stack as an option. Just to help
throwing the toxic spikes out there and someone trying to break down Mega Sableye while they're toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not happening. I like the idea. I don't like. I want her to prove that she can use that, and it's a great idea, and I'm wrong, but I don't think she will ever bring Sandslash, and it will perform that role, and it's going to work.
Okay, so now we're just going to come up with the ranking for the Stantlers draft. So I was thinking probably an A- for this draft. I think that it's got potential to go higher than that, but just on the face of it and some of the missteps maybe that are there, I wouldn't be confident going for a full A. So I would give it an A-. What do you guys think? Would you be a bit more critical?
Same. I think you're being like, you're trying not to hurt people's feelings. If you're gonna open your argument with the flaws the team has, I don't know how you can give it an A-.
Why?
B. Because if the first overwhelming thing you see is what's wrong with the team.
No, that's not what I'm just saying I want to give it a really good mark, but there are flaws, therefore I can't give it an A.
No, but Sam, what he's saying is A- is a really good mark in a draft. Because no one gets a perfect team. That's impossible.
Yeah.
So A- is really good.
Yeah.
There's not much to go up from.
Yeah.
There is. There's an A and an A+.
Yeah, but that's what, 9 total points?
We're not giving anyone a freaking A+. Like,
no way.
Jeez.
Well, if you're saying you're not going to give an A+, then what's the point in having it?
Well, there's no draft that's perfect.
But A+ isn't perfect. It's not necessarily perfect.
All right, this guy.
You know what, Sam? You're going against the tide, and we're all, we're saying, hey, Sam, I also picked A-, but I'm going to say, hey, Sam, in America, there's no A+ when you go to college. It's an A. Even if you get 100, it's an A. Okay, that's how we do things.
No, there were A+ in my college.
Yeah, your college was bad, Burke.
Yeah, you did brain surgery on, like, ants.
Whoa.
It's like, as a compliment. Anyway, I give it a B.
Snails, by the way.
I can't tell the difference. That's why I'm doing this. I give it a B.
I'm giving it a B+.
I just think the flaws, like, you can look at the team and go, I see a flaw right now, and I feel like at that point you can't give it. Granted, she might use a team really well, and we're just might play around that, but we're just going purely off the order of the 11 Pokemon. So anyway,
fair enough.
I said too much. You guys can.
John?
Oh, I said A-.
A-.
I also say A-. I like our
I'm
team.
so critical. Wow.
There we go. A- for
No,
the
it'll be a B+,
Stantlers.
Sam. We had a B+, and then 3 A-.
Yeah, A-. Majority rules.
What if the A- were all 91s? And the B
We're
was
doing
like an
averages,
83,
man.
The B was an 83, and the B+ was like an 86. That drops it to a B-. Or a B+. I meant B+, I meant.
I was gonna say your average is kind of off there.
Let's do math, all right? I judge Pokemon. That's my
well,
ceiling.
how about... I think that's an A-. I think that averages out to A-, but we can just leave it as A-/B+, and you guys in the comments let us know what you think.
Yeah, just go after me, because I'm the only one who probably doesn't
tell
like
Steve how mean he's being.
Just say it. Just call me stupid, Sam. Just do it. You want to.
Anyways, moving on. Adam?
So the San Francisco Arcaniners, coached by SceptileMC, it's going to be very hard for me to pick anything that I didn't like about this draft, because I loved this draft. I loved his 2 last picks in Golurk and Zapdos. I know a lot of people don't overly care for Golurk. They might have thought that might have been a bad pick. I like Golurk a lot. The only one thing that I have against his team is that it's not entirely speedy. I think base 100 is the fastest that he goes. I'm pretty sure.
101 Lando, isn't it?
If Lando might be 101.
Yeah.
Wait, what's Zapdos' speed?
100.
100.
Okay. Yeah, Lando is 101.
Yeah, so that's the fastest that he goes, which isn't a big deal when you have Unburdened Hitmonlee and Rock Polish Landorus and priority with Mega Scizor and all that good stuff. So it's just a really good draft. I don't know about what you guys think, but I think it's a really good draft.
I'm gonna just go quick because I really I remember him talking about his draft, and he said after he got to Uxie, there was nothing he really had to fill in for holes. He had the points left for an OUA in the last pick. It's just there's not there's no glaring weakness. I don't look at this team and see anything like beyond the speed. I think that could be a problem, but there's nothing big. And the thing I really, really love about this team is beyond him getting Landorus and then getting the Firewater Grass Core of Melodic Arcanine and Shaman, and then Mega Scizor. I think my favorite pick is actually Goodra, because what we've seen in the last 2 seasons with Goodra being used is it's a glue mon. It's that mon you can put on any team. It holds it together, and I really think this thing can do the same thing for his team, but his team didn't really need something to hold it together. So I feel like it's just going to elevate the core and just the offensive threats a little bit more. It's going to be able to be that bulky offense with insane coverage, and I think it's going to be really good. I also really love the fact that he has Landorus and Melodic Mega Scizor. You're going to have HP Ice and HP Fire, but Melodic switches into both. Same with Arcanine. So I think team building is going to be a little difficult for some people, and that's all I have to say, really.
I completely agree that this is a really nice draft. I had the pleasure of battling George in the D League Season 1, and he was a force to be reckoned with. And his Arcanine, he used that amazingly well. That thing I know is a huge threat. Combined with the Monotype, Milotic, and Shaman, I think that is maybe the strongest Firewater Grass Core in the game that you could get, aside from Venusaur or something like that. But Shaman is incredible in the things that it can do with Tailwind, Healing Wish, and Option, and Synthesis and all this. So it's really, really, really good. So all the walls have really good attacking stats. So he doesn't have to fear getting set up on or anything like that. And it's just really nice. It's a team where you can play around with the EVs, and it is good. I think the speed thing is definitely something to pick up on, but I don't have much else to add. Apart from Zapdos in the last round, I think was more valuable than you're kind of saying. Otherwise, you'd have to rely on Rapid Spin Hitmonlee, which is not reliable. All the other teams have got ghost types, and or he would have to rely on Defog Mega Scizor every week, which is not.
Or Skuntank.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's Skuntank as well. There is Skuntank. I do love Skuntank. I don't want to take anything away from Skuntank. Skuntank works, but for reliable defog, you need with Arcanine as a defensive fire type Pokemon, you need to have good hazard removal, in my opinion. And I think the Zapdos is just an incredible, and also a really, really good electric type, which he hadn't got to that stage. It's an amazing electric type, so I think that was a really, really good last round pick.
I would say he got one of the best. He got all the UU mons that are extremely bulky and just put them on one team. Melodic, Arcanine, Shaman, Goodra. It's how does one person get all those on his team? But the one thing that I see that I'm not huge fan of, he doesn't have any. He has no fairies on his team, so he doesn't have, I would say, too much to switch in on Dragon Stab besides Mega Scizor.
Yeah.
So that might be a problem for him coming into some of these weeks.
It could be. It depends on what Dragon Stab it is. With Arcanine, with the Intimidating being such a good defensive wall, that will help. And he does just have a lot of bulk that can probably sponge it. The special hits as well, if he has an AV Mon or something. I think he can play around it, but I do like fairy types on a draft, and I agree. It would make a really nice Steel Fairy Dragon Call with Goodra and Mega Scizor already there, but yeah, I can see that.
I feel good about him saying it, because now I can say something bad about it.
Yeah.
Not only does he not have a switch-in for... Well, I mean, in general, switch-in for a Dragon-type stab. He definitely has incredible walls, and I don't think he's going to have that big of a problem with that. But he also doesn't have the easiest way to take him down. He has no ice types. He has Goodra. It's going to get outsped by every other Dragon-type, though. Obviously, it's going to eat up any Draco meter that comes its way, but still doesn't have a really solid, quick way to just get rid of Dragon types. So he might struggle with those. He might actually really struggle with Dragon types, depending on what the team is and how good the Dragons are. But I don't think there was a ton of really powerful Dragons.
No, I agree. Is Haxorus there? I don't think it is. Dragonite's there, which could be interesting. Maybe it's Dragonite's time to shine eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
But yeah,
Hydreigon could be good. Salamence.
Yeah, Latias as well.
Yeah.
And Latios, obviously.
You can kind of see like his train of thought as the draft went down. Like round 3 was reaction to 4 just being picked before it. Arcanine was gotten to protect Mega Scissor. Shaman was there to cover the Firewater Grass. And then once that happened, after that, he's like, look at that. I can just kind of pick whatever I want at that point. He's got it all covered. And he gets Goodra. And then, but I think if anything, if the only reason why this team would, I use the word fail, but you know what I mean? Like, not he's going to fail. I think the only downside of this team would be is that most of his stuff, most of his offensive stuff, with the exception of Lander's Eye, does like one thing. So it'll be easier to plan for to take hits against this team. So I think he's going to have to... It gets hard to get creative with Shaman when it gets Seed Flare, Psychic, Earth Power, Air Slash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has to run that. He's probably going to have to run Assault Vest Goodra. And, like, Mega Scissors, he's probably not going to throw Defog on that. If he does, it's probably going to be Defog, Bullet Punch, U-Turn, and then X after that. So I think if the only thing his team is going to run into just predictability with his offense. But other than that, I mean, I think the team is solid enough to sustain that. So I think he's going to be all right. And Hitmonlee Unburdened, that's going to deal with Dragonite. Doesn't he get Ice Punch? I think he gets Ice Punch.
Yeah.
He's the one with the kicks, not the punches.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets...
Does it? I thought it did.
No, he doesn't.
Does he get Ice Kick? He gets some Ice move. I know it does.
I bet it does.
Stone Edge. Just throw Stone Edge. It takes down Salamence. I'll take down Dragonite. It'll be fine.
The one thing I have to say with what you said, Steve, is I think that's really very true. But with George, he's the dude that we saw, especially defensive Mega Gardevoir and defensive Latios.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it looks like he cannot do anything different or special with this team is going to allow him to be ridiculously unpredictable, doing things that nobody sees coming. They're like, oh, Melodic's just going to be this shit. I mean, who knows what he's going to do?
The one thing I say in response to that is you named 2 things he made defensive. He didn't change offenses, so I don't know if he can do that.
It'll be interesting. I think that is a fair criticism, having looked at the previous 2 drafts and said, these have a lot of potential, we don't know if they're going to live up to that. Whereas George was saying, this is just really great at what it does, but I don't think there's as much
it's not a huge
involved.
criticism at all. It's just like, if it's gonna...
It's just on paper, that's all we're looking at the moment. I know from experience that George is a great battler, and I know that he will be able to do things with this team that we won't see coming, but... Just on paper, he's not got a Mew, he's not got an Infernape, he's not got things like that can really just... They have a lot of a number of standard sets, and in a draft format, you go off piece from standard, so you've already got a lot going for it. But I'm sure that George can do a lot with the team, but it's not like on paper.
Yeah, it's not a downfall. Like that's just a result of what he drafted, but it's still really good. Just if I had to find anything wrong with it. George, you're listening to me. I know you are. I want to see physically offensive Zapdos with Drill Peck. That's it. All right.
I want to see Coil Melodic.
Oh, man.
And now we're getting somewhere.
I like it.
The one thing that I'll say before we go really to the ratings is that he has 3 Stealth Rockers, but 2 of them are Uxie and Golurk, and I don't really know how often those are really going to come to battles. So either he's using Landorus Eye as a Stealth Rocker, or he's just going to not play with entry hazards, which I think could limit him a little bit. Regardless of that, though, I still think it's an A for my rating score of this, because I just think it's really, really good.
I'm going to give it an A-. And George, look, if you're going to say that 2 of your last 3 picks, you had all your holes covered, and then you don't use the opportunity to draft Scyther, we're going to have a problem. Because you could have done that, and you chose to go with the Skunk. So I don't know what to tell you. You're never going to bring that, George. Don't lie to me. Do it out of spite. I don't care. But no, I'm going to give it an A-. I think A would be like a super perfect draft, and I feel like if you could have, filled rounds 9 and 10 with some stuff you liked better, then it would have been a better draft. But I can't give a draft where you choose 2 Pokemon, kind of, quote, just because, end quote. I can't make that an A, so I'll give it an A-, if you understand that ramble.
Then what's an A+ to you?
11 Scythers.
Gotcha. All right. Moving on.
I'm going to also give it an A-, and for different reasons than Steve, because Steve's reasons were just kind of meh.
Boom!
I think he had probably one of the best drafts, but the problem is he does not have a switch in really for dragon types. He doesn't have any fairy types, which can really help deal with opposing dragons like Hydreigon and other dragons that are possibly on other teams. So I definitely think if he drafted instead of like Skuntank, because he already had 2 defoggers and a spinner.
Tell me reasons we're dumb, Emily.
Yeah.
Don't
shut up.
diss the Skuntank.
He could have drafted something like Aromatisse, give him some more wish support, and I think that would have bumped him up to an A.
Well, that's the first time we ever heard if he drafted Aromatisse, his draft.
I think, hey, I don't care what you guys say. I think Aromatisse.
Oh no, I'm not saying
pretty
it's
good.
bad. It's just that's interesting. That'll go down in the books of wow, the first time someone actually hoped the good draft got Aromatisse.
Should I have said he should have drafted Mega Audino?
No.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. I can't look at a draft to say I don't actually have anything that I think is bad about it beyond maybe speed. When it's I mean, his first pick is Landorus Eye. We're all expecting Rock Polish most weeks. That's what everyone else is going to prepare for. So I mean, if that's my only big flaw, and then Dragons, when there's only been 4 other Dragons picked, and I don't even know if many of them are going to threaten his team too much. So, gotta go A.
Fair enough. I think I'm going to go A as well. I do have some reservations, as the others say, but I think that this is deserving of an A. I just love that monotype water, fire, grass core, and Gudra as well. And I just think it works really nicely together. But I do take on board the issues with switch-ins on dragons. I think that could be an issue, which we could see. But I think it's worthy of an A.
I think it averages us with like an A. So
Yeah. Steve, you're on to the Staraptors.
All right. So Russell Wilson got too much money in his contract.
I agree.
So we have the Seattle Staraptors. That's GHart's team. When you look at it, like I do like his team. When you look at it, he's like knocking off. He's like checking off. He was going for Fairy Dragon. Looks like he wanted Steel at the end, but then Exegol got taken and Mega Scizor got taken, and then he just kind of got sad and went with Victini. But I do enjoy Victini a lot. So he's got Salamence, Victini, a lot of offense. He's got fast electric type and Jolteon right after that. And then he went Tentacruel, Registeel, and Gourgeist with his walls. Clefable isn't really it's not really that good as just a pure wall. Its bulk isn't that good. It's helped a lot by its typing and move pool, obviously, but he tried to, I would say, I guess, get good walls, but they kind of lack recovery. So Gourgeist, I mean, it can leech seed stuff, but it's weak to knockoffs. How good is it really? Tentacruel has no recovery unless in the rain, which he didn't draft at all anyway, and Registeel has no recovery at all. But it gets Thunder Waves. That's cool, I guess. But I like Crocodile in round 7. I think Crocodile is really good in this format late game because they can just clean up with that Moxie. It just gets better and better. Basculin's probably not going to see any time, and he had 20 points left anyway, so he could have done something better with that. But Mega Lopunny in the 11th round, I think, is a huge steal because of how much work Miguel did with it, and just how much you have to plan for it. Because it does get scrappy, so Mega Sableye are gonna have issues. You have 4 against on that team, Ellie, but overall, I like GHart's team offensively, but I think defensively he left a lot to be desired, and that's my assessment. So
okay, I'll hop in.
Go ahead.
I don't love his team, but I don't hate his team. I'm in the middle of liking some things, hating some things. I don't really know where I'm gonna stand. You look at his first 4 picks, and I actually love all of them. I really think Clefable's going to be really good. I think Victini in the 3rd round is actually a steal. I think Victini is one of the best Pokemon in this format. Really good. Jolteon, Season 1 MVP. This thing is just really fantastic. We know that fast electric types are good in the format. This thing also has Volt Absorb. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure it does, right?
Yeah.
That's always great. I mean, if fast electric types are good and you have Jolteon, it's kind of almost the premier one in the sense where it kind of stops other fast electric types and it outspeeds most of them. But after that, it's kind of a mixed bag. Tentacruel, not bad. I don't love it. Registeel, I'm kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good. Crocodile, at that round, I really like it. I used him, a little biased, but regardless, I think it's a good mon. Gourgeist, Basculin, But then Yon, Mega, and Megalopunny, I think those could be really good. I think Yon Mega in the 10th round, I think it's a good value pick. I don't think it's a steal. I don't think it's something that is going to be amazing for sure, but I think it can be. But the fact that when I look at his team, I say, GHart was in a league with Hank when Hank used defensive Salamence very effectively. I think Salamence, Clefable, and Registeel are his best walls. I'm a little worried. I'm definitely a little worried. And especially...
Sorry, one more thing. There's a big difference in this format between walls and walls with recovery, and I don't think people grasp that as much as they should. Because like Registeel has a lot of defense, a big wall, but then it just sits there and can't recover anything. So
yeah, and I mean he also I just said something good about Yon Mega, but I mean that's a Rock's weakness. Is Tentacruel his only way to get rid of hazards?
Aside from Defogments, if he's going to go
Defogments, yeah. I think we will see defensive Ments, or especially defensive Ments. I think that will come, actually, and I think it will be great. Yeah. But when you look at a team and you say, I think defensive Salamence is going to be really good for this team, that's when I start to get a little worried about this team. And I just offensively think it'll be great. Defensively, I am a little terrified for him.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, I was quite I don't know, surprised by the draft. There are a lot of things I like it. I actually do quite like the Clefsteel Ments core. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it could really work. Both Clef and Salamence do get Wish again, so you could Wish into Registeel if you wanted to, but we've already said that's quite hard to do. Tentacruel is a good mon. That was Miguel's only form of hazard removal, and he used it very well. And there are components that I like. I really like the top half of the draft. The bottom half, not too sure about. Megalopunny's great. Don't have any problems there. But as we say, like, hazard removal could be an issue if he's relying on Defogments, or Tentacruel is just a bit weird. Mega, I haven't had that much experience with it. I don't think that it's the best thing out there. Basculin, I think, was probably one of the worst picks of the whole draft, because he has Tentacruel, which is probably coming quite often, and it's another water type with the similar weaknesses. It's not very powerful in this format. It's not very fast. In the lower tiers, it's good, but because it's one of the faster things, but it's not one of the faster things here. And Gourgeist, it's all right. It's decent. I mean, I'm not quite sure what to make of it, really. I need to see what his plans were actually in using this draft, because it's just, it's a bit all over the place. There are good components, there are good cores, potential cores and things. I just want to see it working together. And those 20 points left, I think, are a bit of a travesty. I think that there's no reason for them not to have been used up.
I definitely agree with you. It would be nice to see him throw back Basculin, add the 2 points to Basculin, and try and pick something up from there. But I really like Gourgeist. I want to see it succeed really well, because I love my Super Pumpkin, because it's a really good defensive wall.
Yeah.
And now with this generation, it gets Synthesis, which is also really cool for it. But one thing that I was harping on for the first 3 teams that GHart actually did was he actually has pretty good speed on his team. So I do really like that. And like you're saying, I like the first 4 picks or so, and it kind of gets a little hazy in between there, and then he brings it back in with Megalopunny, which is really good. But I like you're saying, I'd like to see it work together. It almost kind of seems like he went for like the second best of everything for each round of the teeny. Like that's what it kind of seems like to me. I still think it's going to work pretty well together. It's still pretty well rounded. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
He's definitely lucky only one team gets Mamoswine, though.
True.
Because Salamence, Victini, Jolteon, Tentacruel, Registeel, Crocodile, Gourgeist, and Yamega all get destroyed by Mamoswine.
Yeah.
So he definitely has a he does have a ground weakness and an ice weakness to his team. So I think he's going to have problems dealing with teams that have plentiful coverage of both ground and ice. just because he's going to have to plan for that. I mean, he's got Clefable, he's got Basculin, but that's not going to take a hit, and he's got Mega Lopunny, which again, not going to take a hit from either. So he's definitely going to have to plan around that pretty well. And if once he plays Nick with the Mamoswine, that's going to be it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. They're in the same conference, by the way, so they'll play each other twice.
That is unfortunate.
That is extremely unfortunate.
There are definitely ways that he can deal with it, though. Like,
yeah, he's got to drop ask him for something better. That's what he's got to
do. I think he doesn't have switches in, but he has threats for it.
Yeah, the Mega Lopunny can just go for a high jump kick.
Yeah,
and kill it.
Pretty sure that Victini's V-Create will kill it, even though thick fat.
Yeah, but it's just there's like no switching really on his team for it.
Should we move to ranking, or anybody else have anything else to add?
No, I said all I have to say.
All right.
So Steve?
B-. I like it offensively. It can put a lot of pressure on a lot of teams offensively because it has the variety of Jolteon, Victini, and Salmons right there. It can and Mega Lopunny, so right there are 4 things that can. But it just doesn't come together well. He's gonna have to be offensive and put offensive pressure on opponents continuously, and I just don't know if he'll be able to do that because defensively he's not gonna be able to sustain switching into things a lot because it's just he has nothing that can do anything back once he switch in. So B- for sure. Seattle.
Okay. So this one's going to sound a lot more harsh than it really is, but compared to the other teams in the rankings we had, I'm pretty sure I gave Mike's team a B-. And if that team's a B-, this one has to be a C for me. And the way I explained it as well, I think he had some picks that I loved, but he also had as many picks as I loved. He had as many more as that I actually disliked, or even Basculin kind of hated. And Yanmega, I don't think it's a good pick at all. I'm just excited to see it on a team and hopefully used, but I don't, especially with the fact he doesn't have much has removal. I think there's just too many picks I dislike. There's a lot of picks I do like. C equals average, and I think he can be a lot better than average himself, but based just on everything I said and his draft and compared to how we're ranking others, I think it's a C.
That's fair enough. I've been thinking about this one. I do think it's my least favorite draft up from the ones we've looked at so far, and I think that I will give it a B- too. I think it's just too much of a jumble for me. The other 3, I could see how they all fit together and gel. I can't really see that with this one yet. I'm sure there are ways they can do, and that may come with the prep when you're looking at a specific team and building a team for it. But just in abstract, I'm not seeing really how it all meshes together. So B- for me.
I'm probably going to have to give it a C+. I think, what did I give I gave the Gastros a B-. I just think the Seattle Staraptors, their team, it's just got such a common weakness throughout the entire team. It's going to be really hard for him to plan week to week for that. So I don't think he has as good of synergy with his team. He doesn't really have much volt turning action that if you're going to put a lot of offensive pressure, you're going to need. So I have to give him a C+.
That's fair. I'm probably going to give him also a B-. One thing that I was also noticing, he has some good speed, but priority-wise, he has Basculin and Mega Lopunny, and I think that's the only thing that he has priority.
Poorgeist, Sneak.
Poorgeist does have Sneak, which is super powerful.
Victini's quick attack. Victini's quick attack. Come on. Respect, man.
Okay. Jolteon's quick attack. Let's stop with this.
Jolteon is not physically offensive, John.
So I'm going to have to go with a B- too. I would like to see this work because I think he has a bunch of different tools that could potentially work. It's not coming together in my head as well as I think it probably could. So B- for me as well.
So what does that average out at?
I mean, average-wise, it would either be a B- or a C+. Yeah. I don't know if me being a dick with a C skews that. Someone will.
There's somewhere around there.
I think it was probably a B-.
I think B minus. We're hovering like 80.3 territory. So just
I'll concede B minus.
yeah.
Oh, I'm a dick now. Oh no! Come back, Burke. Come back.
We already knew that.
I'll say. You know what, John? Just to help you out, I'll say C+ / B minus, just so you don't.
Woo!
Okay, so should we move on to the Blazikens?
All right. This was probably one of my favorite drafts. He drafted Mega Venusaur. I love Mega Venusaur. So, but he covered like Mega Venusaur only two weaknesses in Psychic and Flying, and then he immediately covers that with Skarmory that resists both of those, and then he gets Gastrodon to cover the weaknesses of Skarmory, and his team. I can definitely see the thought process going into drafting everything. Mamoswine, huge offensive pressure. Hydreigon as well. And Lucario can definitely also be very offensive. And then he covers it up with some walls at the end also with Cofagrigus. And I guess not really Entei. And I guess Audino, but I don't see what Audino's really going to do. It just sits there and maybe Wish passes. And the Manectric was definitely an interesting pick. It gives him an electric immunity, which is nice, along with Mamoswine. And it will cover up, its kind of lackluster special attack. So, any thoughts from any of you?
Yeah, I like this draft. I agree that the Mega Venusaur, Scar and Core with other options like Gastro, it's good. There's a lot of immunities on his team, which is cool, and some big threats. Lucario is a huge setup threat. Mamoswine is just really powerful. Hydreigon again, really powerful. Alakazam with the Sash. He's got so many options. There's loads and loads of powerful mons there. He's got Fire, Water, Grass, and he's got the Steel type and the Dragon type as well. I think that there's a lot going for it. I do question what the Audino was there for. I don't really see...
I can explain that when I get to that point, because I question him with that.
Okay, well, I question it just because I think there are much better normal types. Audino can't break subs, it can't do it. The only thing I can see it doing is Trick Room with a Regenerator, but I don't see his team really being a Trick Room team at all. Like, he's got a lot of middling speed Pokemon that potentially could work, but I don't see that. Cofagrigus again, like, that could be a Trick Room thing. So there might have been something, but his team is kind of on the fast side of average, I'd say. I like Manectric though. I think that's really cool. It gets Switcheroo and it would probably be a really good Scarfo if it's going to come. So yeah, there are lots of ones that I like. Just the Audino is a massive question mark for me that I fail to understand.
Okay, so I have a little bit to say on this team. Mostly because at the end, I questioned him because I wanted to know, because he told me before he hates lower tiers. And I was really worried he would just say, fuck it with the lower Pokemon, but I'll explain those. But I want to say first, Mega Venusaur, then Skarmory. Fantastic. He came in with a plan, he executed it, and I think even getting Skarmory in the second round, like, that's pretty big. Skarmory is the best at what it does.
Yeah.
And when you can get something that's the best at what it does, fantastic. But what I think it just shows, how aware he was of how drafting works and everything in general is Venusaur, Skarmory, and then Gastrodon round 7. The thing that perfectly complements Skarmory, the best thing at what it does, he got at round 7. He waited till he knew he could get it that low, and in between he gets Mamoswine, Hydreigon, Alakazam, and Lucario. 4 incredibly terrifying things. And I think that I think it really showed how smart he was with this draft and how aware of, what can drop, where he can get stuff. I thought that was really cool. When we got down to things like Cofagrius, Audino, and Manectric, it's actually kind of funny. The thing I hate the most is Manectric, but it's also because I talked to him. I don't think he really even likes that pick. But to defend him a little bit, I was like, Nick, what the fuck was Cofag and Audino? Why did you do those? And his thought was, well, I didn't have any form of... I had no Heal Bell, I had no Cleric. And getting Audino for the fact that he needed something to be a Cleric. Now, it's one of the last picks. I don't like it for just that reason. But we also saw in the tournament, Audino was not garbage. It actually pulled its own weight. And when I went against Dan this season, both times he played me, part of his strategy was, okay, we're going to do Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, Thunderwave, Toxic. Try to put a ton of status. And if you have no cleric on your entire team and you play a team like, let's say, Ellie, you're fucked. It's over. Like, everything is just going to get statused, and that's going to be a problem. So I think that actually is something you have to have on a team, or at least you should try to have something. And Kofag, that one, again, I was a little iffy, but he wanted something to, be able to switch into physical hits and deal out Will-O-Wisps. And I think they're more niche picks, but also walls that can do a little bit more than just the niche thing they were drafted for. So I like them more after thinking about them. I also am with you, Sam. I'm a little iffy with them, but I
don't think that cleric justifies Ordino. There are far better clerics even in NU. Licky Licky can use. It's got Swords Dance and it has base 85 attack. It can actually break subs, which Ordino cannot do. It can't do. It has no offensive presence at all. It doesn't have seismic toss. It literally is set up for anything. That's what I worry about with Ordino. Yes, it's a good wish passer because it has regenerator, but we've said wish passing is not good in this format. It's not really viable. It's not a viable strategy. I don't think Ordino is the option for Heal Bell. That's the issue. Like I was thinking about it, and I really dislike the Ordino. I think there are better options out there.
Maybe I'll get some hate for this, just like when I said Aromatisse. So, I could have seen him drafting Granbull because it gets Intimidate. It can function as a physical wall. Plus, it gets the Heal Bell.
Around then?
No, it was picked in round 8.
It was round 8.
Never mind then.
Fire the intern.
Shut up. Okay, never mind. I take that back then.
This is actually my favorite team that was drafted. I love Kefagrigus in this format because Mummy can be so good. Like it could shut down, which flat out its ability can shut down some certain offensive things. Like Crocodile can get rid of that Moxie real quick if it's starting to do damage. Just like Arcanine can get rid of its ability if it's got Flash Fire or Intimidate. So something come in with you can feel safer.
So you can Will-O-Wisp the Arcanine, yeah.
No, God damn it, John. I hate you.
It shuts down Mega Lopunny.
Mega Lopunny, yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he got Kefagrigus less as a wall and more like Mummy can be really good. It could just flat out shut down offensive threats, like threatening his team with it because just now they have no ability. And when you only have 11 options per team, like I think that's a huge thing that completely nullifies something. I love Lucario. I love Hydreigon. Alakazam it's really good. It's fast.
I love that.
It's like a free sash pretty much. It's really good. This is like gonna be the dumbest thing said in the whole video, but for as good as Mega Venusaur is, I think the reason why it's never good is because it's so good. It's one of those things where you have to plan for every single time, and because you have, it's so good, you have to plan for it. I feel like it doesn't really do much ever.
But I think,
it can be shut down so much easier.
But then just having said that, you're saying the opponent is focusing so much on Mega Venusaur, so much energy, they over-prepare for that and maybe under-prepare for everything else when he's got huge threats. And I think it works really well in this team,
I love Manectric at the end because I was hoping, someone would bring up Switcheroo because Switcheroo can be so much fun with Manectric. It's so fast. It can pass essentially any item, obviously. So again, you can have Kefagrigus nullifying an ability, Manectric nullifying a hold item, and he's just got a lot of options up and down his team. And I love this team a lot. And
I do like it a lot.
This is easily my favorite team in the draft. He's got so many options on every spectrum, where it is status, gimmicks, defense, offense. He can do a lot, and that's why I like it so much.
Fair enough. Has everyone said their piece? Do we want to do rankings?
I'm gonna give this team. I'm gonna give it an A-. It's like, for me, A is like a perfect draft, and there's some problems with this team, not very big ones, but I'm gonna have to give it an A-. I really love it, but I'm a harsh critic. What can I say?
I'm giving him an A/A-. I can't. I think it's better than Ellie's draft. Barely. I think it's a little bit worse than George's draft. Barely. The one thing that I can say is a negative is the core is so amazing. I mean, Mega Venusaur, Skarmory, and Gastrodon work so well together. I think we're going to see them a lot, and I think they're going to function best together, leaving him 3 spots for offensive Mons. Now, he doesn't have to do that, but I think when you draft something like those 3 Mons together, the point would be to bring that core, and that core works best together. So I don't know. I'm a little worried that doing that and then only having 3 offensive options might be iffy, or not bringing the full core will be a little iffy too, but I mean, that is the tiniest knock on what is a very, very good team.
You're effectively saying there that ideally he's got so many good Mons that he wants to bring them all, but he's stuck with an amazing core, which is just such a shame.
Well, it's an amazing core without much offensive presence, which is my point.
I think that I'm probably going to go an A on this one as well. I do really, really like it. I think there are lots of options. I have a few qualms with Cofagrigus and Ordino, but you know what? We might just not see them. And honestly, I'm not upset about that. Sometimes I'd say you've wasted a slot there. That's a problem. But this draft is so stacked everywhere else that I think it's going to be hard to decide which amazing things to bring. So I'm gonna give it an A, I think. Yeah.
A for sure. I just so many options. I actually like Cofagrigus pick. I think it's gonna come in handy, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna get rid of Gyarados.
It's not awful.
That one Tough Claws or whatever the hell he has to boost the whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
It can do things,
Yeah, it can just. I love it. A, go Washington Blazikens.
Now you make me seem like an ass.
I give it an A-, maybe even a B+. I worry about the core. I think the core is super passive. Skarmory can't do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got Whirlwind. Gastrodon can do things. I love Gastrodon. It's great. But if you have a strong electric type with hidden power grass, it breaks those two. I mean, you have Mega Venusaur, but you can Volt Switch out to something else because it's pretty slow. I think that core is really good, don't get me wrong, but I think it's way too passive. He has a lot of good offense to go with it, for sure, but none of those really want to switch in on anything. And so I think he might run into problems there. I'm going to give him an A- because I still think it's a great draft. I guess I don't see it as fantastic as you guys do, personally.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think you're fantastic, Adam.
Thanks.
Am I moving on to a... Yep.
You are.
Yep.
Okay, to the Shelmets. So, Mr. Gassy. Now, this one's kind of interesting because most other people... I know Ellie actually got sniped a few times, but as the first round went on, after almost every pick it felt like, I saw Gassy getting upset about getting sniped, and through the first few rounds it sounded like snipe, 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 snipe. And I have to wonder... Well, not even a wonder. I know the first pick isn't exactly what he wanted first by everything he's saying, unless he just wanted to say that, just for show. But I don't know if he got the team he necessarily wanted 100%. So that leaves me a little like, I don't know. And there's a few things I'm a little, I don't know, iffy on. But I do like the team. There's a lot of things I really do like on it. There's a lot of things like Manaphy is very good in the format. Latios is really good. Toxicroak, I love Toxicroak. I don't love it at round 3, but I still think it's a great Mon. Steve was just fantastic with Mega Ampharos. But, poking a little bit fun at Steve. I don't know. I don't. This is like the #1 draft so far, that is, where you see things kind of out of place. Toxicroak, Mega Ampharos could have definitely waited on those two. But Tornadus T and even Garchomp, I feel like, could have gotten drafted before them, and they're kind of value picks. Tornadus T is really good. Garchomp, it's not a first-round pick. It's definitely a good 6th-round pick. And, I mean, after that, I think he did really good with his last... The bottom of the draft is better than the top of the draft. I don't understand that. Like, he just came alive. He's like... Reuniclus, fantastic. Amoonguss, great Mon. Doublade, it fucking won last season in the championship. We can't say that's bad as a 9th-round pick. Bellissi at the 10th. And Houndoom is one of the best NU picks in this draft, most likely. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't dislike it. I'm confused. Someone give clarity, because I don't know what happened.
Okay. Well, Toxicroak, as I said, I'm like 99% sure was in direct response to Forgus being drafted, because he had Manaphy and Latios, and those both lose to Forgus. So I think he's like, I need something for Forgus. So Toxicroak it is. Mega Ampharos, man, what are you doing? Like, I had it twice. and I regret having it once. I picked it season 2 out of spite. Okay, I don't, and it was actually my best year, so I would have thought. I just Mega Ampharos is not coming because you can't bring it. You just can't. It's too slow. It's just weak to two. Oh God.
You need to watch some of Joey's UCL matches. He's using it quite well.
Well, that's Joey, all right.
It is Joey, yeah. If anyone's going to use it well, it's probably going to be Joey. But
Shelmets, man. Yeah. Are you actually a Mets fan? Because I hope so.
I think he is.
Being really Mets right now, man. That's a total Mets move. It's like you're throwing out Matt Harvey, Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, your 4 is Bartolo Colon. That's a Mets move. Mega Ampharos is Bartolo Colon.
Right. Well, I'm gonna unpick some things here though. I don't like the 3 dragon types. That is very unnecessary.
He's hoarding them. He's gonna trade one. He's gonna trade one for huge value.
Maybe that's the plan.
The R.A. Dickey, man. It's perfect Mets parallel. He's gonna do it.
I don't like the rather massive ice type weakness that follows.
Mamoswine.
Mamoswine just has a complete field day on this team also. I feel like there's just not too many options. I don't like the types that have been chosen basically. I do think that as you say, he's got some amazing value picks. Amoongus going that late was really good because that thing is so good, such good value. It's so good. Reuniclus as well, we've said. Doublade's amazing. Blissey, like the lower part of the draft is unbelievable that he managed to get all those. But what I can see from this team is maybe there's some it seems to suit hyper offense, and if that's the playstyle he's going for, it actually could work a lot better than I think it will on face value. There's he could be going dragon spam here. I'm not sure if that's what he was planning or not, but he has got the option there. He's got the Doublade to switch into fairies and maybe try and set up with that. There could be some interesting tactics going on here. Hyper offense would potentially be an option, but I don't know. I wouldn't be comfortable with that kind of a team, I don't think.
He's trading Latios for 8 years over, I'm telling you. Latios for Rotom Wash is going to happen. Mark my words. He's going to do it. He hoards he has Latios and Garchomp. Teams would kill for either of those. And I think he's going to unload one of them for a Rotom Wash or something like that, and it's going to pay off for him so well.
I mean, if he can do it, that'd be fantastic.
He's going to, because the Dolfinneons going to need offense quick. And the Shelmet's going to be Rotom Wash kind of helps out my ice weakness a little bit, and it can Will-O-Wisp stuff. I'm telling you, it's going to do it. Latios Rotom Wash is happening before week 6. I promise you. I promise you it's happening.
Did you provide anything or just make a prediction? A very bold prediction?
I don't know what to make of this team either. Because he's Manaphy, really good. Latios, really good. And Toxcroak was in response to Forges. And then after that, he's just Tornadus T is really good, Garchomp's really good, and then Reuniclus is really good. And he just got things that are really good, but the bottom half is entirely Doublade, Blissey. I don't think he's gonna bring Houndoom ever. I just don't think he can, based on the rest of his team. His Manaphy's gonna have Manaphy can demolish things. Tailglow is amazing. Manaphy, Toxcroak is a fairy killer, so he's gonna open up room for Garchomp and Latios anyway. So I don't think he's gonna ever bring Houndoom. I don't know. I just don't see him bringing that. I just Blissey is fat and big. Doublade's fat and big. Amoongus is fat and big. But it's he switched what he wanted to do mid-draft. It's weird. It's he had a plan, and then round 8 hits, and he goes, no, change it all.
New plan.
Typical Mets, man.
I mean, doesn't Reuniclus also have, what is that, Regenerator?
It does.
Yeah, I think that's Regenerator.
Yeah, that worked out well for you, Hank, right? No. You can't bring them both. He can't. His team relies too much on offense. And Houndoom does not fit that at all, so he can't bring Houndoom.
He could go bulky offense. He could go.
But I don't think he's gonna do it very successfully because, I mean, I want to like his team so bad, and then I see Mega Ampharos, and
bad memories.
It's dude, if you picked like missing
any
no
other
over
Mega.
Ampharos. Even if you picked anything not even Mega Ampharos over that, it would have been better. Because what if you? Oh my god, yeah. I think that pick broke me. It did.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
He wanted Mega. He had offense. Removing Mega Ampharos, offense, and he's like, well, we should not do that anymore. And just, I don't know. I don't think he knows what he wants to do. So I think that's gonna hurt him week to week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he said he wanted Mega Manectric instead of Mega Ampharos, but he got sniped.
Mega Ampharos is not a Mega Manectric substitute.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand how he got sniped. He chose Toxicroak 3rd round. That's a 4th round pick. You take the Mega Manectric. It wasn't picked yet, and if you knew you wanted that, I don't see why he didn't take that first.
That would make so much more sense on his team because it would fit so much better on a hyper offense team. Mega Ampharos can still work on a hyper offense
response. Because the first 2 lose to Florges, and he realized that as soon as Florges got picked, he knew he had to pick something.
I mean, you might actually have some merit in that.
I'm telling you, it's exactly why I did that. Those 2 lose to Florges, he realized, oh crap, if I pick Mega Manectric,
he puts Mega Manectric on that team.
Manaphy doesn't lose to Florges. Manaphy would beat Florges. Tailglow, it would beat Florges.
Not happening. Never gonna happen, Sam.
Boom.
Okay.
All right.
Guys, in the comments, please leave a comment saying whether you think Manaphy would win or Florges would win in 1-on-1.
Please show the damage calc.
Please show the damage calc as well.
Do it right now. You guys keep talking.
Or show down replays or whatever you can manage.
And watch, it's just Manaphy is just going to absolutely destroy Florges every single time. It's going to set up the +6.
It will.
It's going to set up the +6, and then just
trying to get that
center.
chance. No, it's not going to happen. It's not happening.
Yeah, sure.
Not happening.
Shall we go into scoring?
Yeah. Anyone else got anything to say? Nope.
I'm just doing calcs for shits and giggles.
Okay. So, yeah, scoring.
All right.
So,
sorry.
I mean, if he brings offensive Calm Mind Florges, Energy Ball is doing 55 to 65% of Manaphy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in trouble. Plus
And
6 surf
after
does
a
85%
Tailglow,
most. Plus 6 surf does 85% most.
It is 2-hit KOing, so it's kind of a.
But he's got to get to +3 first.
Steve, I'm just
time.
helping you out for fun. I really, I mean,
It's not happening.
I don't know. I don't think either argument was even good. I don't think you don't pick Toxicroak because you have a Manaphy for Florges. That makes no sense. I mean, Manaphy's just great in general.
It does.
But I don't know if he picked Toxicroak just for Florges. I think Toxicroak's just a weird pick.
Yeah, I think it's a weird pick.
I think it's why that would make sense. If you look at it like that, that would make sense. Would be weird.
I like that you're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I really am.
Yeah.
But then he goes and gets rid of all merit with the next pick. I don't understand. Was he like spinning a wheel?
So I'm fine being harsh. I think. I mean, now knowing that he wanted Mega Manectric, it got sniped right before Mega Ampharos, and he didn't take it 3rd, and he took Toxicroak, which he could have fucking gotten like round 8.
Typical Mets move right there. Typical
Mets move. I think that's just going to be the slogan for the season.
Typical Mets.
Just make the playoffs or go like 0-8. Just either one.
Typical Mets.
Typical Mets.
There's going to be Agility Mega Ampharos 1 week.
Can we go to the scoring?
Yeah.
Sorry.
John?
Yeah, you wanted to do that, and I kept cutting you off. Sorry about that.
John.
Oh, me. Woo. Okay. So I think it's a little bit better than GHart's. I understand it more. There's a lot of things that confuse me, but I think that if you get past the fog and you look inside of what the actual team he'll bring to matches, and he actually does have the ability to switch a lot of mons out, and I think he will use most of his mons effectively. I'm gonna give him a C+. It's not the best. There's definitely some things he did a little wrong, but I think he can definitely do better than a C+ grade. But I don't think on paper a lot of the things he did were fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say I would probably be less happy to use this team than GHart's team, which is currently my lowest rated team. His only defog option is Latios, and I like to have defog options. He's got 3 dragon types, lots of ice weak types. I mean, he's got Manaphy, which is really good for that kind of thing. But I would just not be very happy using this team, and therefore I'm going to give it a C.
I'm gonna I see it as about as good as GHart's, so I'm gonna have to give it a C+ as well.
I'm gonna give it a C+. Like, I want to like it so bad, but I don't. I just like, you know what I mean though? Like, I just
No, I do.
If you took like 6 of his Pokemon and you go, his first 6 picks would be Manaphy, Latios, Toxicroak, Tornadus, Garchomp, and Reuniclus. You'd be like, wow, that is an amazing start. And then after that, it goes, what happened? Mega Ampharos is there.
Mega Ampharos and you put Mega Manectric there, he's the B range easily for me.
Yeah. I feel like he just didn't know what he wanted to do, and then just, like I said, switched it mid, and I think it's going to cause problems for him going forward.
And I definitely understand that you get sniped. I mean, I could be understanding, but it was just so easy to avoid that.
Well, if you want, he could have just gone Jolteon at that point. I mean, it's worse than Mega Manectric, but it's much better than Mega Ampharos.
Yeah.
He got picked 2 after that, so.
Yeah.
And then he could have saved his Mega.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he could have gotten, Mega anything else. Anything.
I look at this team, and I want it to be a rain team. I want Manaphy, Toxicroak, Tornadus T, Amoonguss, Doublade. I want them all to be in rain.
In rain, yeah.
He didn't grab
Politoed.
And I don't know why, especially when you have Latios and Garchomp. Why we can't get rid of one of the dragons and throw a Politoed?
Just one. You could keep 2 dragons, please.
Can you imagine that? Mega Manectric and then Politoed as well? He's like creeping even higher onto my list. Like,
I mean, he would be the premier rain team of the D League.
Yeah, the premier rain team.
Adios for Rotom Wash happening.
Anyway, what's the score?
I'd give it a C+. I like his team less than I like GHart's.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm meaning that round apparently. C+ average, I think.
Yeah.
Sounds about it.
Works.
Right. So we're moving on to the Bills now, coached by Macadii, and I think this team is really interesting. I absolutely love the prospect of the Umbreon, Crobat, Hippowdon core. That core is so cool. I love it. And obviously Excadrill in stand with Hippowdon is really good. Mega Manectric's a brilliant Mega. I like a lot of things in this team. And then what I thought was really cool also is the final 4 picks on the team are really interesting. Definitely fill a certain niche in that you have to then think about potentially a Trick Room team maybe. Dusclops is there and he's got
Doesn't work.
slow powerful Hariyama. You've got the slow, powerful Exploud. I think there are some, really interesting Pokemon there. I don't think it would be a team that I would think of drafting or using, but there are aspects on it that I really do like, and I can appreciate that. Basically. I like the fact that he's got multiple options to get rid of hazards and things, and Azelf is great in the format as well. Anything you guys want to jump in?
Trick Room doesn't work. Source me season 1.
I mean, it doesn't have to. This was a late draft pick, and it's just something that the opponent has to think about now. But I think it's a cool idea to have that as his final few picks, just to throw in a spanner in the works.
He doesn't really have a lot of like flashy picks, but I think that's where his success is going to lie in, because people aren't really going to. I feel like what's going to happen the first couple weeks is people aren't going to feel like they have to overly prepare for certain things. I think they're going to put too much focus on Hippowdon and Excadrill and Mega Manectric, and it's going to be the rest of the things that he has that are going to actually be the real value of his team. Yeah, because like Azelf can do a lot. Slowbro is really good.
Yeah.
Exploud could be really good with that. You just throw specs on it and just start boom bursts and stuff. That's gonna be awesome. Mega Manectric, Slowbro, Azelf can all turn, and they're all really fast, so he can kind of control what happens with the game there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the success in this team is gonna lie on more him and what the stuff he comes up with, because he has to figure out ways to beat people. I think other people have to figure out ways to lose to him, if that makes any sense at all. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna piggyback off of all that, unless you have more to say.
No, I just so I don't sound like an idiot. I'm gonna wrap it all up. I just think he has a lot of underrated stuff that people are gonna realize that they should have planned better for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is actually by far one of my favorite drafts, and I love what you're saying too. I think it's very underrated. I mean, the Hippowdon Excadrill core is fantastic. Everyone will plan for that, regardless of if he uses Hippowdon Excadrill for what everyone's going to plan for. This is going to be terrifying. And the thing is, Hippowdon is an incredible defensive mon. We've seen this thing just work fantastically in the format. We've seen Excadrill as one of the best spinners, offensive spinners. It was great. Both mons were great by themselves in Season 4 and other seasons. And together, they are just terrifying. So I don't think he even needs to bring Sand and then Sand Rush Excadrill 1 week. I don't think that's necessary. And I think both of those 2 picks are going to be great. Everyone's going to plan for him. And when he does bring them, they'll be great. You throw in Umbreon along with the Slowbro and, the core between those 2 and Hippowdon. I think that core is really scary. Crobat also, Defog, and just the awesome fighting resist. He has Slowbro for that too, but it just really drives it home. And then Crobat, Azelf, Mega Manectric, speed, and U-turn, Volt Turn. Yeah. I love that. So we have the bulk, we have the really scary factor, we have this really good Volt Turn, and then I think his last 4 picks are the best last 4 picks value-wise. I think Granbull is a Pokemon a lot of people wanted, and he got it in a round where no one else was going to grab it. I mean, we said that for Nick, it would have been a good pick. He grabbed it round 8. I'm going to guess that Nick would have loved to have Granbull.
Yeah.
Exploud, we're all thinking one thing with Exploud. And want to know what he's going to use it for? The coverage that this thing has. Boom Burst is incredible, but Exploud also has really crazy coverage. And that is really good in a 10th round pick. And he's going to be able to have the powerful move along with the coverage, which is nice. It's not just the one-trick pony. It's kind of in the middle of one-trick pony plus other things that it can do. And then Hariyama and Dusclops. I think Dusclops is probably going to be the most underrated mon in this entire draft. That thing, I don't know why it's really fallen out of favor. I know, knockoff's a big thing now, but he has switch-ins for knockoff. And along with that, there's a lot of things that can't kill a Dusclops.
Yeah.
And when you have something that some things just cannot kill, and you switch it in, and you can EV it specifically for a specific threat, that becomes a problem. And if that's his 11th pick, I don't know. I think that can be really cool. I'm excited about this team. I actually don't know if anyone's even set up like a big flaw. I wouldn't want to use it, and I feel like it's very underrated, but have we found like a flaw?
There's something that I want to just mention, which I think is interesting. If he does want to bring Sand with Hippowdon, then Umbreon has to rely on Wish for recovery, not Moonlight, which is interesting. But not like a massive, massive flaw. I don't know.
John, when you said Exploit had coverage, you're being sarcastic.
Doesn't it have coverage? I could be wrong.
Fire Blast and Surf and it doesn't need Shadow Ball really.
Focus Blast.
Boom Burst is like always the best option though.
Right, all right, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like you have that incredibly powerful stab plus good coverage.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It gets those moves, but like Boom Burst is almost always.
Yeah.
Steve's like, click Boom Burst. Fuck everything.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
I really love his wall core. I mean, Hippowdon, Umbreon, Crobat, Slowbro, Ramble, Dusclops. I know you guys keep knocking Wish Passing, but Wish Baton Passing is very good.
Wish Baton Pass works.
Because
it does work.
Getting the slow Baton Pass off, then you get to see you get to take the hit, and then you switch out and get full health in whatever you switch into. So it can be really viable, like just Wish and then switch out, not as good. But Wish Baton Pass from Umbreon can definitely help keep the Dusclops and the Granbull alive, and help keep high health on like Exploud, Hariyama, anything he needs. Plus, the walls the other walls Crobat you can run as a wall, and Slowbro, they all have some sort of instant recovery, Slack Off, Roost. So it's going to be very hard to take down those Pokemon.
The only thing I'll add is that I know that he has a lot of familiarity with using a Dusclops Umbreon core, and I think those two together are going to be very tough for people to break, let alone adding all the other mons on top of that. Basically Hippowdon is almost a ground version of Melodic, where it has 2 weaknesses, 3 weaknesses, instant recovery. It's just a really good mon. So you throw. It's just kind of my little sneaker was really good draft. Was really under the radar. Like I looked at it while he was drafting. I didn't really think anything of it until I look at it as a whole right now, and I go, "This is actually really good." He's got a lot of speed. He only has 1 mon with priority, which kind of stinks. But I mean, he's got enough speed really to hopefully take care of that. So I really like this draft.
I knew that you would have to pick up on the speed because it's got 3 extremely fast mons, which is really nice. It is really cool. And the option for Trick Room. There's just a lot of speed control going on there, which is really interesting. Sand speed control, Trick Room potential speed control, and just a lot of speed anyway. It's cool. I like it. So, can we move on to rankings?
Yep.
I really like it. I think that this one, again, I think it is more dependent on the user, like I would have said with some of the earlier ones. I'm going to give it an A- because I think I need to be convinced that it does live up to some of the... I think it doesn't have some of the really, really hard hitters. Like, Exploud is good, but it's a bit slow. Azelf is good as well. I think that I want to see how the threats are used first, though. I would say A-. I don't think it's up there with the A's yet. What about you guys?
I'm gonna give it a tentative B.
Okay.
It's I say it's not like overly flashy, and I think that alone is why it's not in the A range, the A- range. But I think it can work really well. But I would say I haven't seen it, so I can't judge that. This is just based off Pokemon. But I give it a B. But I just see his team doing well. But like I said, I can't know that because of. But I give it a B. I think he's gonna make it work. I think it can work definitely, and I like all the hidden gem that he's gonna find that he's got in there. So definitely 84.
I guess I'll go next. I was gonna give it a B+. I definitely think that he might struggle a little bit to get good offense going. I mean, he has Gramble has a base 120. Azelf has base 125 in both attacking stats, but I feel like outright, it's almost kind of similar to Ellie's draft, where outright, there's not really anything that I'm overly threatened by. Obviously, extra drill in the sand, but nothing else really scares me to begin with. So that's I think something that he might potentially run into trouble with. But I mean B+ because I think he has some great bulk going on and some great cores that he can run through. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with you for your reasons there. That's exactly why what I agree with.
I'll go. I'm gonna give this. Can't really decide on what distinct one, but B+ / A-. I think it's just I gave both the Blazikens and the Arcaniners. I gave them an A-, and I think his team is a little bit worse than them. So I'm just kind of in that range right there.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm gonna give it an A- for the same reasons. Now, I think he might perform. I think he has the ability to be the best team with how he plays. Like Sam said, it's one of those. The person has to play really well, but looking through it, I always thought it was one of the top. I think it's a top 4 draft regardless. Looking into it more, I don't have a knock. I mean, there might be a little bit of a knock with some offense. I still think he has some really good offense, but I don't think it's an A, and I don't think it's below an A-, and I don't have a knock, but it's just this weird thing of I think it's really underrated, and I think he's going to do really well with it. I don't know. I think A- is the pick. I think on paper it might be below the other two, but I think it has the potential to be the best team. I think it could be.
So
if he can, I was like,
A-. I said A-.
If he can use Hariyama the way that Nick used him, then he has some offense right there.
Yeah.
No, I think he has great offense. I mean, Hippowdon's above 100, Excadrill's offense, Manectric, Crobat, Azelf, Granbull, Xcloud, Hariyama. I mean, those are all offensive.
Powder never gets respect for being offensively powerful, but it's really good.
Really good.
It can be really good offensively.
So we were slap bang between an A- and a B+ there, and we can move on to the Dolfinneons.
The last team, I guess, the Miami Dolfinneons, run by Hardytack Yo-Yo. Where to start with this team?
At the Butterfree.
I guess we will start now. I'm gonna let you guys talk about that one. I'm
all over this one.
I'm gonna go with the good things of this team. He does have a Sylveon. He was able to pick that up. Round 6 maybe?
That's
round.
Mm-hmm.
And he grabbed Dragonite round 9.
Mm.
I mean, those are 2 pretty good mons that he grabbed late. Granted, he grabbed some bad mons early in order to do that. But I don't think his team is terrible. I like Porygon 2 a lot. It's a great wall, especially with Sylveon.
Yeah.
He has Weevil for that. Obviously it ran through season 4. And he has Hitmontop, which is always good. So he has some pretty good priority. He has decent speed, and he has an electric immunity and Raichu. So there you guys go. I'll open the floor up to you guys because I know you guys have a lot to talk about.
Steve, do you want to take this one?
I don't know what you're talking about. Hardy, listen, I know you're watching this, so I'll go first so you can get this out of the way. You're campaigning so hard to be in a GBA League, and then you take Butterfree round 4. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself. You're going, Steve, I'm just going to be entertaining. It's going to be great. You're going to think that, and you're going to be 0-4, and your comments are going to hate you, and you're going to go, I probably shouldn't have drafted Butterfree. It's going to happen to you, man. You pick Butterfree, right? And then you get Porygon 2 and Sylveon. You surround, you have Mega Medicham, Rotom Wash, Porygon 2, and Sylveon. You didn't need anything else defensive because I think that's a pretty good defensive core. Typing, doesn't really match up, but it's good. They can stop a lot of stuff. I don't like Porygon 2 in this format because knockoff and a Violite and all that, but he's just like especially offensive. You have Nidoking. I mean Dragonite, I guess. Nidoking, I guess, but. Yeah, Sylveon, if you want to run that offensive, you can do that, but you kind of need that to be especially defensive because you don't. Oh God, I don't know what you try to do here. It's like you said you tried to have fun with it, but then you picked a team that I guess it's because me, I wouldn't have fun playing this kind of team. I enjoy offense more, I guess, and you just kind of picked crap. You know what I mean though? Like just Raichu just bad. Like it's just bad. It's crap. It sucks. You know what I mean? Archie.
So I'm gonna hop in.
Yeah. Please do.
Like, Hardy.
Yeah.
I love you, Hardy. You're a great guy. I love you. I hope you don't lose your luster for the GBA. I hope you do well for your own sake. But
I think that's a good point. I think all you're trying to say is I want you to not do as bad as I am worried about anyone who drafts Butterfree in the 4th round.
Yeah. I just because he said he wants to entertain people, which is an awesome. It's great you want to do that, but I'm just worried how you're going to handle if you start like 0-5, and then you know how league comment sections get. Like they're brutal, man. They're brutal, and I'm worried 3 straight weeks of that you're going to be like, I regret doing this so hard, but I'm stuck. I mean, you could drop Butterfree. You could do it. You can do it, man. What I'm more surprised about is that he has Raichu and Butterfree, and he still made even with the points. Like, no points whatsoever. I don't know how that happened.
Well, he got 3 OUs. So he did. So the thing is with this team, it's you see Butterfree and you instantly think this team is shit, and I think he almost and this is kind of mean, and it's not meant to be mean because I think he did a good job. I think he almost accidentally drafted a pretty solid team, kind of. It's odd. I don't like the Butterfree pick. I don't like the Raichu pick. I'm not overly fond of the Hitmontop pick, but I think it's his only way to get rid of hazards, and I think someone yelled at him and said, "Hey, get hazard removal." So that makes me like that one less, but I think it's good. But Weavile, fantastic. Mega Medicham, I think it's very underrated. When I looked at it, I was like, "Ooh, that's bad," and I looked at it, I'm like, "Oh wow, this actually is faster than I would think for something that's that powerful." Yeah. You have to plan for Medicham.
Yeah, you do.
Thing hits like a freaking truck. Rotom Wash, great mon. Porygon 2, Sylveon core. That's a pretty solid core. Nidoking and Dragonite late, those are good mons. there's a few things I'm very questionable about, but I think he has some really good Mons on that team that can make a really good team week to week. He's a good battler. I've seen him battle. He's a good battler. He knows what he's doing. I just think maybe drafting-wise, it was a little new for him. And, the idea of, oh, wait, no one wants Butterfree, I can get it last, didn't pop in his head. He's just like, fan pick, Butterfree! And then he's like, oh, shit. Why did I do this?
That's the most heinous crime, is that yes, you can have Butterfree if you really want it, but just don't assume someone's going to pick it in the 4th round when there are still so many really, really good ones left. Butterfree can fulfill a role. I would try and defend Butterfree, but I find it so much harder when you pick it 4th. If you picked it last, I would stand up for it and say, it can be a Sash Sleep Powder lead, it can try and set up, it can be like Specs Tinted Lens, there are options. But there are no options that would ever warrant it being 4th round, and that is the only issue there. I do think there are good things going for this team. I think that people could well be surprised at how it performs, just because they get so fixated on aspects that maybe don't really come into play too much. But yeah, I think that it's just maybe the draft format, or doing that, it was new or just not very as well thought out. Butterfree should never be 4th round pick, but that goes unsaid.
I picked around it though. It's like,
It's like, what happened there?
Yeah.
But I'm actually like, you guys are talking about the Butterfree. I don't see why you drafted the Raichu. He had a Rotom Wash.
Yeah.
So he had a good electric type, and then he drafts the Raichu. He could have picked something that fit his team a little better. I don't know, out of all the NU picks that there possibly out there. And if you really wanted an electric immunity, I don't think anyone picked Lantern, which, granted, he has Rotom Wash. So
I think you criticized it a bit more if you picked that over.
Yeah, I would say, like, why would you draft 2 water electrics?
Yeah.
It's like drafting both Slowbro and Slowking. But
he has Nidoking as an electric immunity.
Yeah, Nidoking's already there, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think he could have picked a much better NU in the last round. Something that fit his team better. I do actually like the Hitmontop, Sylveon, Porygon 2. Yeah, the Porygon 2 is susceptible to knockoff, but he has Sylveon and Hitmontop to take it. So I don't really see that as much of a problem. And Rotom Wash, so...
Another thing that I would just pick up on is his team is really quite weak to Fairy. Nidoking is his only resistance, and that's not really something you want to be switching in on attacks. So there's that, because Weavile, Mega Medicham, and Dragonite and Hitmontop.
Surprisingly, though, no Mega Gardevoir, and no Mega Altaria. So
yeah, not as much Fairy at all in this draft, which is interesting.
And he had
Sylveon, Azumarill.
Yeah, and
no Azumarill.
Yeah. So maybe that's not going to be as much of an issue. I don't think it's an awful draft. I do not think it's an awful draft. I just think that it's there are some crimes in terms of drafting. Yeah, priorities.
I think like the problem with those just egregiously bad picks is that when you're planning to play him, you just don't need to plan for that, because you just can't bring it.
I do think Butterfree's going to embarrass someone.
I think Butterfree's going to be coming. I don't think you can say that.
Sap Sipper Gudra's going to style all over it.
What?
Can't wait.
Oh, because
no, he's saying Gudra's going to stop Butterfree.
Yeah, Sap Sipper. It's gonna try and put it to sleep, but it can't, because it's got Sap Sipper.
Okay.
So for my score for this, the other 2 things that I had that on top of you guys was Hitmontop is the only way of getting, or I guess he has Archeops for defog if he really wants to be savvy, but Hitmontop's the only way to get rid of hazards, which means Medicham Hitmontop's going to be redundant typing. And then on top of that, with the Butterfree, there's only one other Pokemon that like does its job worse, and that's Mothim. Like, you could have at least chose like the Vivillon. Vivillon still does the stuff better.
But it's a mascot pick. It's a mascot pick.
I'm well aware of that. It's like Butterfree's like the second worst at doing what it does.
There are quite a few. Masquerain is worse, and
Masquerain at least gets good abilities like Intimidate.
And his wings look really cool.
Butterfree gets good intimities like Compound Eyes and Tinted Lens. They're both really good.
Does it get Compound Eyes?
Yeah.
It does.
You know we've been talking too long when we're arguing Masquerade Butterfree
Yeah,
as a
we are.
4th round pick.
It's the Darko
Anyway.
Milicic of the draft.
I like his team outside of Hazard Control and the Butterfree. So I'm gonna give it a C. That's what I'm gonna give it, is a C.
Mhm.
Go ahead, you guys.
That is the worst average rating reaction ever. I like it, so I just give it a C. No, I agree with you. I'm giving it a C minus.
Mhm.
Fight me, Hardy. Please, I'll win if you bring that team. So please fight me.
I'm gonna give him a C minus too. I think it's the most criticized draft by far in general, just by the general public, and I think he's going to do better than his draft. Like it feels like he wasn't comfortable drafting, and I think he knows what he's doing. He's going to do better than the C minus rating.
Yeah, he's got good stuff there. I hope he realizes.
Right? Yeah, there's good things on that
Yeah.
team, and he is good. So that should turn into better than C minus. But on paper, I mean, like, you could just tell me he drafted Butterfree in the 4th round. That's below a B by
You didn't
itself.
even need to put the round in there.
But I think he, as Sam said, I think he just made some drafting. As Sam said it best. I don't know exactly what he said, but drafting errors, drafting
Crimes.
What'd you say, Sam? Crimes. I love it. Drafting crimes.
I would just like to say that Masquerade gets Sticky Web and Baton Pass, so instantly
You
better.
can't baton pass quivers though.
Why not?
You can't.
Wait, really?
Oh wait, can you? Are we saying we can
Oh, yeah,
with
we're
GBA?
not yeah, no.
Yeah.
Come on. They just banned that like a month ago, and we've been allowing that for like 3
Yeah,
gens. of
yeah,
competitors.
yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that would be good.
Drafting Masquerade next season. Boom.
I'm gonna give this team a C minus as well. I do think it's the probably the worst draft in terms of what I would want to use, but I don't think it's terrible. I do think that there are tools that can be used, and I hope to see that happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C minus also.
Mhm.
I like even if I just forget like the Butterfree. Let's say that's just say he picked that 11th round. Anyway, I still just don't think it's one of the better teams. He just has, I don't know. Yeah, that fairy weakness is definitely gonna probably come back to hurt him, and the fact that he only has Hitmontop for hazard removal, which is redundant typing, it's gonna hurt him, and that's why I give him a C minus.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that he has some pretty good priority with Hitmontop and E-Speed and Metacham and Weevil and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he does have good priority. That is fair. That is actually
Got
really
some good stuff.
Quick
Just hope
attack Sylveon. Go, go, go.
I didn't bring that one
Quick
week.
attack
I
train.
didn't get to use it.
So, are we moving to the closing thoughts for today's video?
Yes.
Just to summarize, so what was everyone's favorite team? If we go through
Blazikens.
Blazikens,
Washington Blazikens. Yeah.
Arcaniners.
the Arcaniners, Adam.
I'm gonna go with the Blazikens.
Okay.
I'm going to go also with the Arcaniners.
Okay, I think I'm going to say that my favourite draft would be the Arcaniners too. I'd love to use that team. And we'll go...
Are we going to do the value pick?
Value
We're gonna
pick.
do
Yeah.
value pick?
I would love this. Yeah, best value pick. Ooh, there's some good ones.
Oh, this is really tough.
Diddly, 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 diddly.
I should have thought about this.
I can go first.
So-
if you guys want to.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Regirock in the 10th round. I love Regirock. He does not get enough love. He is a
Yeah.
great NU-mon. He is fantastic, and I think he'll do a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a general thought process because I don't think I can pick one value pick because I'm a big draft nerd. I love value picks like more than the actual Pokemon itself. I loved Mega Sableye, Zapdos, Mega Lopunny. Not for those Pokemon. I love the Pokemon in general, but not just because of the Pokemon. But you know, we've made a completely new drafting style. And the thought of, okay, we know good OU Mons will be left at the end. We know good Megas will be left at the end. Let's focus on everything else, save that for the last pick, and then pick something that complements the team completely. beautiful. I don't know if that's the perfect idea every time, but I think in this draft, all 3 situations, it was really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would have to be one of those. It just gels everything together. But I do also want to give a special mention to the Shelmets, getting things like Amoongus and Doublade in round 8 and round 9. Those were some incredible pickups right there. The fact that they lasted so long as well, they are really, really good mons. Really good mons.
I'm going to actually say one pick I think that's really high value is actually the Sylveon, because he got that. I mean, technically it's sixth round, but he has a wheel pick, so it's like 5th round. But still, Sylveon is one of those things that usually goes pretty early.
Yeah.
And for him to, scoop it up 5th round, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Goodra in the 6th round.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Great pick.
It complemented his team, like in that spot too. That complemented his team so well. Like it just shored up weaknesses that he had, and getting it in the 6th round is ridiculous. Especially the things that went before it that probably shouldn't have gone before it. So, things like Nidoqueen, perhaps.
Oh, Nidoqueen's amazing.
I love Nidoqueen.
Round 3 is really early, but
I don't think anyone was going to pick it before he got it. I mean, or after that, like for a few rounds.
Remember though that he was a wheel pick there.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have got another pick for a long time.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
he probably would have gone. It would have gone if he hadn't picked it in one of those 2 picks.
It's possible.
Potentially.
I think it would have done. Okay, so I think that concludes the draft analysis for today. Please, in the comment section, we love to hear your feedback. We would love to see what grades you'd give all the teams, and we'd love to know what things you think were really good value picks as well, because it is, as John says, very interesting, the whole draft kind of procedure. So, yeah, please do that.
Also, in addition to grading the teams, grade on how you thought we analyzed the drafts. I want to hear your thoughts on that, because that shows us that you watched the whole damn video.
Yeah.
So, do that.
Boom.
All right, I think that's all from us today. Please make sure that you stay tuned to this channel for more updates as we build up to the first matches coming soon. And all that's left to be said is thanks for watching.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Later.